Welcome up! Can we talk about truth in politics? The answer is coming up. Hello, I'm Understanding Politics, and in this channel I explain political theories and debates to students as well as curious and passionate people, just like you. So the question was, can we talk about truth in politics? To answer this question, we should first ask ourselves if we can talk about the truth at all. If you try to get to the core of the question by looking at a complete definition of truth, you will see how things are not that simple. Truth can be associated with facts or statements. So, for a fact, you will ask yourself whether that thing really happened. Normally, truth is ascertained by gathering evidence, different statements from witnesses, and agreeing on a reconstruction of the events that seem plausible. We can then say that truth can be ascertained to some extent as a socially accepted agreement. Things are simpler for statements. A statement can be a mere recalling of facts or a judgment. Well, whenever you are recalling a fact, you say something true if what you say is coherent with what happened. A judgment is never true nor false. This is because a judgment is subjective. If I say it's cloudy, you can easily see whether I'm telling the truth or not by looking out of your window. This is a statement on a fact. If I say Mario is annoying, you understand that this is a judgment and this is neither true nor false. This is only my perception on Mario, and your personal perception may differ. But since Mario is a human being, he can change his behavior and my judgment can change as well. So here we learn two things. Judging is attributing something to a fact, and the truth is fixed and cannot be changed. Judgments are tricky, and they get trickier the more the reasoning is complex. As a result, we often end up confounding them with statements on facts. Now, can we talk about truth in politics? Let's assume a politician at the end of an argument says this policy was a mistake. This is a judgment and it is subjective. You can agree with the statement or not, and that is why we tend to think that politics is all about opinions. James Madison said, "All governments rest on opinion, and not even the most autocratic ruler or tyrant could ever rise to power, let alone keep it, without the support of those who are like-minded." But let's examine this. Parties exist to represent opinions of parts of society, because in society multiple individuals have different opinions, right? Assuming that all individuals in society aspire to the good of the whole, then they will think there are different paths to achieve that good, right? The answer is no. There is not more than one path towards the good of society. If you think that's the case, that's probably because we as a society don't know how to solve these problems, or you as an individual don't know enough on a given topic. We have quite an astonishing record of political mistakes that resulted from a scarce knowledge on a topic, and therefore we should elect people that are knowledgeable and that are assisted by even more knowledgeable people. Electing non-schooled and non-educated politicians is always bad. Furthermore, the assumption that we all want what's good for the whole society is inaccurate. Most politicians want what's good for them, such as being re-elected. Some of the electors want what's good only for them. Some other electors want what's good for a small slice of the society. Some other electors want what's good for their society. Few electors want what's good globally for the human society. Most of our political debates do not revolve around our scarce knowledge over how to solve a problem, but on clashing ideas of good. As argued by Hannah Arendt in Truth and Politics, dictators fear truth the most, because an opinion can be dismissed, but truth no. Truth is a tyrant. Facts are not secure in the hands of power is obvious, but the point here is that power by its very nature can never produce a substitute for the secure stability of factual reality, which because it is past has grown into a dimension beyond our reach. This is an even greater risk in nowadays media landscape. Again, Arendt wrote, "In contrast, the modern political lies deal efficiently with things that are not secrets at all, but are known to practically everybody. This is obvious in the case of rewriting contemporary history under the eyes of those who witnessed it, but it is equally true in image making of all sorts, in which again, every known and established fact can be denied or neglected, if it is likely to hurt the image. for an image, unlike an old-fashioned portrait, is supposed not to flatter reality, but try to offer a full-fledged substitute for it. And this substitute, because of modern techniques and the mass media, is of course much more in the public eye than the original ever was. In other words, politicians use organized lying to cancel the truth. Objecting to Plato, that believed that mathematical truths cannot be denied, Thomas Hobbes wrote, "I doubt not, but if it had been a thing contrary to any man's right of dominion, or to the interest of men that have dominion, that the 3 angles of a triangle should be equal to 2 angles of a square, the doctrine should have been, if not disputed, yet by the burning of all books of geometry, suppressed, as far as he whom it concerned was able." Listening to different opinions produces different political recipes. So you see here that the problem is not truth itself. Truth exists, also in politics, but it is too often clouded by the deception of interested actors. If you don't know the truth, it's probably because you don't know enough on a specific topic, or you were deceived. Nobody can know everything. You must listen to somebody. But every time you listen, you need to check the facts and question the interests of the person speaking. Many electors are not well informed. Many others have a different idea of good that clashes with your own. My idea of good is for a global human society. If you have a different idea of good, you will never, ever agree with me. And you can say with despise that I'm a leftist, continuing to believe that you are right to be a rightist, because without the right amount of egoism, we have never achieved anything. If that is the case, you should know that this is not what tells left and right apart. A rightist can have an idea of good that I agree with. Check this old video to learn the difference. Secondly, I have possibly more knowledge than you when I tell you that if human societies do not cooperate for the good of the whole world, then we want anything more to defend. And this reasoning can be applied to climate change as well as to the shortage of vaccines. Truth is there, and your opinion cannot change it. Conceptually, we may call truth what we cannot change. Metaphorically, it is the ground on which we stand and the sky that stretches above us. As usual, thank you for watching. One of the most strenuous defenders of the idea of truth was Plato, that in the era of sophists, philosophers that believed that rhetoric was above all, proposed Socrates, that died for truth, as one of the rare valuable thinkers of the time.